All right, let's talk about delegation. So this came up last week in our mastermind, with our mastermind group. I think this is a really important topic, and there's really three main categories that we get into as entrepreneurs, as business owners. If you've got a digital agency, if you're an expert and you're running a mastermind, a high ticket, I have a digital agency and a high ticket mastermind program. We do a lot of things no matter what business model you're in. And I've been in a lot of different business models. These three things come down to really key points of delegation when you're running a business. Okay. Before I even dive in to what these three things are, let me just start with an overarching principle. And this is a really important one. I mentioned this yesterday in another live when I had a guest on our show yesterday. It's important to think through this. Your job as a CEO, your job as the leader of your organization is to make a very few number of high quality decisions per day. Okay. Your job is not to do a million things at a time. Your job is not to multitask. Your job is not to go frantic. Your job is to make a very few number of high quality decisions per day. That will advance your business more than anything else. It will also serve your clients better than anything else. I'm going to say that one more time, and then I'll break down some delegation points here. Again, your job as the leader of your organization and your community and your business for your clients and for your good is to make a very few number of high quality decisions per day. Okay, what erodes your ability to do that is information overload and decision fatigue. Information overload, which is coming in us all the time, and decision fatigue. What do I do with all of the information I'm getting? Where do I put all of these different things? Okay, those things right there will take away your ability to make a very few number of high quality decisions per day. There's three main categories of how you can delegate and what most people delegate. All right, I'm going to list them out real quick, and then we're going to dive a little deeper into the first one because it is the most important one, and it's the one that most people do second or third. And it's a little bit backwards. All right, so number one, the most important thing you can do is communication delegation, handing off your in and outbound communication. If that's on social media platforms, if it's emails, if it's, voicemails, text messages, all kind of stuff. All right. In and outbound communication is a major distraction, but it's something that has to be done and managed. Section 2 for delegating is special project delegation. That's what we call it in organization, special projects. You got some thing that you're really good at, you're wanting to grow, you're wanting to change, you're going to build a new CRM, you're going to take over this new project, you're going to add clients in, whatever. Special projects that require a little more expertise than your average person to do. They fall in line with what you do as a specialty in your business. Okay. You need to be able to delegate those special projects because otherwise you'll cap out as a business. You will only grow as big as you. Section 3 for delegation is having a team manager, somebody to manage your team members and anyone you're outsourcing to. Now, even if you don't have an existing team in-house, no worries. You're probably outsourcing to Upwork or Fiverr or wherever. You're getting stuff done and other people are helping you. You're white labeling. You got people in your sphere of influence in your community. They're helping you serve your clients. That becomes, as you grow, that becomes a major point of communication breakdown. It's a lot of moving parts, a lot of professional babysitting, so to speak, that has to be done there. You need somebody to handle that for you. All right. But that's the last piece. The piece right before that is that major project delegation. That, by the way, is where most people start. And the piece right before that, which is more important than major project delegation, is communication delegation. All right. Managing all inbound and outbound communication. Let's park it there for just a second. The reason that is so important is because when you're managing your communication personally, we're doing it typically in two ways. One is we're jumping in constantly and we're adding to the conversation in our DMs on whatever platform or your emails, Slack, text messages, all that stuff throughout the day. It's just constantly pinging and going crazy at us. Now, really, let's say you're going to go to your doctor's office, or you're going to go to your therapist, or you're going to go out on a date with a special loved one that you really want to impress. All right. You're not going to carry that device around and let that dinging go on the whole time. Let's talk about being with a therapist. That's like the primary one, right? Sometimes even with a loved one, you'll let those interruptions happen. Time blocking your communication is kind of the first step there. Just knowing it's okay to be offline and not communicate with your clients and your prospects for an hour at a time is a pretty big breakthrough for a lot of us. You could stretch that to 2 hours or even 3 hours if you want to go crazy with that, right? Let's say you communicate at 8 in the morning, then you communicate at lunchtime, then you communicate one more little time block at the end of the day before you wrap it up. 3 times a day. Everything in the middle, you're completely undistracted and you can focus on your work. Now, just doing that, that's not even delegation yet. Just time blocking that will give you space. Again, the overarching principle here is to make a very few number of high quality decisions per day. That's the best thing for you and your clients. So separating the communication out, those annoying little constant decisions and constant pings on your brain will allow you to focus and be strategic and be in one place while you're doing your projects. That's a big deal. All right, let's talk about delegating that communication, because this is pretty scary for a lot of people. I remember when I first started delegating my communication, people think, oh, but are they a native English speaker? Since I'm a native English speaker and most of my clients are, or are they, in a way they communicate like me? Do they have my expertise? They don't need all that. My first person to delegate my communication to was a wonderful person. We worked together for like 5 years, and she lived in the Philippines, born and raised there. She was not a native English speaker. No worries. Most of your communication, both of us, like 95% of what comes and goes from your inbox in your DMs or your Gmail account or wherever every day, most of that is able to be templatized. Very few things do we say week in and week out that are truly unique. People in our clientele bases and the people who follow us have similar questions. It happens over and over again. Humans are a lot alike. You can templatize most of the communication that comes and goes from your office. I did that with someone in the Philippines when I first started. Again, she worked with us for so long. We eventually built a podcast together. She was doing communication and outreach to our podcast, which reached out to world leaders and asked them questions about the subject of hope. Totally off brand for this conversation. But I'm saying that to say she was communicating with communication teams and organizers for world leaders and did a great job, because even at that level, most communication is the same set of questions over and over. So find a person that you can start training to communicate as you. Simple strategies to make this work. Number one, get that person figured out. Obviously, you got to find the person. Number two, sit down with them every day for an hour in the morning, an hour in the evening, 30 minutes at lunch, 30 minutes in the morning, whatever. Get a little strategy where for the first week or two, they can just simply look over your shoulder on a Zoom call and they can watch you answering emails, watch you answering direct messages. They can just learn how you're doing it. Then you just experience you going through the process. Here's what I archive. Here's what I keep. Hey, if you have questions about this kind of thing that pops up, no worries. Hey, here's 10 clients that I always want you to flag and let me know before you ever hit send. You can get the message ready, but don't send it until I get to see it. Whatever it is for you, find those parameters and set that up and go through the process for a week or two. All right. If the person you're hiring has a native language skill that's based with you and your clientele, you're going to probably do this in like a week. If they're out of country for you, wherever you are, and don't have your native language skill and native language skill of your clients, it might take 2 weeks for them to see the pattern. But as long as they can speak your language or write your language at a basic level, they'll be fine. Again, most of this is templatized. They're just understanding your pattern. Step 2, week 3 and 4, somewhere in that range, you're going to start handing off the communication to them. You're going to flip the thing around. You're now going to watch them on a Zoom call. They're going to share their screen. You're going to see them as a delegate in your inbox. You're going to see them as they go in and start answering, direct messages on a social media platform or something like that. You're going to see them going through the motions, and you're going to help and coach them as they do the work. Get their hands, their fingers, their eyeballs involved. They're building the templates. Every time they see a question come in, they need to scroll through your templates. If it's been answered before, they should be able to find it, copy, paste it in there, and make it relevant if need be. Hopefully just a pure copy paste. If you come across something that is a question they've never seen before, no worries. Just simply grab that question. You help them craft a response. It goes in the template. It goes in the email, the direct message, and out it goes. That one's solved from now on. Okay, after 3 or 4 weeks of doing that, so you got the first week or two of them looking over your shoulder as you share your screen and show what you do. Talk it out as you're going. Go fast, keep moving, just talk about it. They'll catch on to the themes. The second week or two of that is where you're watching over their shoulder and coaching them as they do it. And then your goal is to start letting go a little bit and letting them handle the 90% that's fairly templatized at that point. They're building the templates, not you, by the way. Every time they make an action or go through the motion, or if you do the answering the email, no worries. They can go back and catch up on that email. They can create, copy, paste the question or the comments and the answers into a Google Doc and build this enormous template with a table of contents. It'll be super easy for them to use in the future. Once you're building that out and all of a sudden now you're several weeks out, you've been watching them do this on their screen, then give them a little space to say, okay, today I want you to start going in and I want you to archive everything that needs to be archived. We never delete, by the way, in our organization. We never delete. We always archive in case I need to go back and get something. They simply start archiving and you can go back in and check, did the archiving get done? Now let's handle the things you couldn't answer. No worries. Hey, let's go back and just look through the things you sent. A few weeks later, they're sending stuff now. They're templatizing it. They're sending on your behalf. Let's go back through and check all the sent items. Make sure this is happening right. Again, if you want to carve out 5 or 10 of your clients that you're like, these can't, we just simply can't make a mistake ever, one word, fine, do that. But eventually you'll want to hand it off as well. And you'll be able to as you trust this new person. So handing these things off is very simple. It's really simple. It's just scary. All right. It's like any new relationship. If you got a personal relationship going, the first couple of weeks, first few days, first few dates, whatever of a new relationship, you're just a little more on edge. Even bringing a new pet into the home. We love rescue animals. So we have new pets coming in every couple of years. We're not over the top with that. But if we bring a new dog in the home and we have another dog who's already here, you're kind of on edge for a few weeks. Are they going to mess up the house? Are they going to tear something up? Are they going to be aggressive in any way? And then you're going to leave the house and go to the grocery store, go out to eat or go to a movie or go on vacation for a week. You wonder, how's this going to go? There's all that little nervousness, but then eventually you get to even trust a pound puppy. If you can trust that, you can learn to trust someone answering your emails because we're better than most pound puppies. So you can do this. It comes down to trusting someone though, and verifying. I love that phrase, trust and verify. It makes a lot of sense, right? We get to trust someone because we built a process with them and they're going to follow the process, but we're going to go back and take a look at what was archived today. Take a look at what was sent today. Take a look at what was pre-made and ready for me that's in the drafts that I'm able to just send quickly because they got 90% of the response done. And maybe it's one of those key clients and I just want to add a little personal statement to it, but most of it's done. The point of all that is it allows us to make a very few number of high quality decisions per day and get away from the minutia. So again, 3 levels of delegation for most people in our roles as leaders of organizations is communication delegation, special project delegation, and then someone you can delegate to manage all the people that begin to get on your team over time, to manage all the special project leaders, to manage the communication directors, somebody to help you with all of that, to offload the whole thing. Now, let's go back. Start with communication delegation. There is nothing, I mentioned this in our title here, why communication delegation will boost your business faster than anything else. We usually start as entrepreneurs with special project delegation. By the way, I'm about to wrap this call up. If you got any questions, feel free to fire them away. But I want to make sure I answer your question. Sorry, I should have mentioned that earlier on. We usually start our delegation with special projects because we have a burr under our saddle, so to speak. We're annoyed at this thing that keeps taking our time. We want to outsource graphic designer, the website building, or the setting up of speaking engagements or outreach to podcasts or whatever it is. We want to outsource that special project. But really, that's not what's taking most of our time. It's getting annoying because we don't like that individual project. But what's taking most of your time, and more importantly, what's taking most of your little tiny distractions that pull you away from work throughout the day and that make you make a lot of minute decisions is communication delegation. When you free up the communication, you will free up thousands of micro decisions per day in your work life. That's amazing. You get so much mental fatigue that you probably don't even realize is there purely because of all the little micro decisions. I have a stand-up desk here. I'm standing up in my studio right now. I notice that as I'm standing up, I get fatigued. I'm a runner and a biker. I love being out and active. I notice that standing here all day does take away from my running speed or biking speed at the end of the day, particularly running. I'm making a lot of micro decisions with my legs as I stand here all day, legs, lower back, all that stuff. When I sit, I have a faster run time in the afternoons. Same thing goes with communication and your ability to make a very few number of high quality decisions per day. Those little communication points, even if you time block them and put them all in one spot, those little spots will erode your ability to make the big decisions with a clear head and a high level of accuracy and strategy. So delegate that process first. Delegate in and outbound communication as much as you possibly can. That'll free up a couple hours of your day within about a month. It doesn't cost a lot because a lot of people in the virtual space can handle that for you. If they're in your country, out of your country, it's fairly easy to delegate. Doesn't cost a lot. And it will be the biggest bang for your buck with freeing up time and giving you so much more headspace to work with. It's like, Chris, Allison's really great, but things are really tight maybe for you right now, and you don't want to just spend the money and go for it. Here's the thing. If you get an hour or two a day, let's say that you're able to handle all of the distractions and that's not bogging you down. It is, you just might not know it. But let's say it's not. Just having an hour a day back in your life. If it's a money thing, you can prospect and sell in that hour a day over the course of a couple of weeks at such a high level. You're going to be clear thinking. You're going to be more intuitive. You're going to be a better communicator. And you're going to be able to do a lot more selling and prospecting to pay for the person that's helping you do this. Do the work on this and get the results. People frequently ask, who can I delegate to in this group? The reason I'm bringing this up is because it comes up so often. The thing to delegate first is absolutely communication management. Absolutely. No question about it. That is the thing to delegate first. It is one of the scariest things to delegate, but it is the place to start. If you really want to change your business and really want to start getting your life back, getting your profit margins up, and getting control of your destiny as a business owner, communication, delegation is where to start. Hope that helps, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Get out there and crush it. You can do this. You can learn to trust and verify, and you can find the right person for this. It doesn't have to cost you a lot. You got this. It'll work. Do work, get results. Talk soon.